Hi everybody, I had a few extra minutes this evening to play around, which is always fun to play with some coding, and created a little proof of concept add-in for Visio that allows you to control Visio using speech. Now, I'd watched a YouTube video last night when the idea popped into my head, and it turns out the .NET framework has a lot of this stuff built in that you can access if you say you do programming with Visual Studio, you make Office add-ins, then this might be an interesting video for you. So I don't want to talk too much tonight and just want to get right to it, but let's go to the next page. I just built a little grammar of 6 commands, and I'll just pop over to Visual Studio, and not to bore you to death, but you can see I've got 6 commands here. OK box, OK ellipse, OK bullseye, OK clone. That's a duplication thing, and then guard and unguard shapesheet formulas. So I just put the OK in there to hopefully help differentiate when I'm actually doing something, but it turns out that I need to do a little bit more like that. Maybe there's some sort of nested ifs, if something starts with OK then, but I was trying to get it to not fire so much while I was doing the video, but it still goes off quite a bit, so I'll probably turn it on and off a lot. So let's just go over in here and see how we do this. The first thing I thought was, well, maybe it'd be nice just to highlight things. Highlight shapes and not have to sort of lose your concentration and go, oh God, where's the rectangle tool? I want to draw a rectangle around these shapes and then give it a, I mean, think of what you have to do to highlight something. You have to do this, and then you have to go format it, and you have to take the fill away, or else you have to send it to back. All these extra steps to do these things. Whereas I'm pretty handy with programming Visio, so I just created this custom ribbon, and I got a talk button, and as soon as I click on that, I'm on air and it's listening for any of those 6 commands. So say I say OK ellipse, OK ellipse, it draws, let me turn it off and talk, it draws an ellipse that fits the screen no matter what size. So let's turn it on and say OK box. So it draws this box here that fits the screen. So let's delete some of that stuff, zoom back in. If I have shape selected and I say OK ellipse, then it kind of draws something that, ostensibly could be a highlight around it. I'd have to make it a little bit bigger than that. So that's pretty nifty. I like that. Another feature I like is the clone feature. OK clone, and that creates a duplicate on top of the shape. Let me turn this off so it doesn't go off. Normally when you duplicate in Visio, you can do this kind of control drag and shift, and sometimes you can get stuff created right on top of each other. But if you select a shape and do the duplicate command, I'll just do Control D really quickly. It does this offset thing. And if you're using the Boolean operations here to slice and dice shapes up, which I do a lot when I'm drawing shapes from scratch, I use the combine and fragment and things like that. A lot of times I need multiple copies of a shape as I put a circle, I need to cut part of it out. Well, I don't want to lose the original one, so I need a clone of it. And so I can say, OK clone, OK clone. You can see that the colors are changing. Now I have three sets on top of each other. I can take this one apart a little bit, take the next one apart a little bit, and so on. Another one I like that I run into a lot is having to center align everything. So I want to make a bunch of pie shapes with rings out of these shapes, and it's really easy to draw circles and lines, but to get them all lined up, you have to do this step of align center, align middle, and you have to do that every time you want to center, align something. And when I'm drawing, I have to do that all the time. So it's really irritating to have to always go to this drop down twice. I mean, it's one thing to have a button, but there's no way to customize the UI to get just these items out of here. You can only add the drop-down list, which I've done up here to the quick access toolbar. So every time I want to center align something, I have to do 2 commands in a drop-down list to boot, which is just infuriating. So let's undo, and we'll turn on our speech recognition. We'll say, okay, all I got to do is be able to select the shapes and say, okay, bullseye. And there they are, just like that. So then I could say, OK, clone. And let's let's see if it's smart enough to actually keep those selected. So those are still selected, so I can take that clone and move it over. In this case, just so I don't lose the original things, I'll go to my developer toolbar and I'll say operations fragment, and you can see it creates this nice ring. Now the problem is now I don't have the original circle. So you can see where clone would have come in handy. So we'll go undo, we'll hit this and say, am I still recording? OK clone, OK clone. Well, actually I don't need that one. But so now I can select all these shapes. Just do a control or a shift select on one of those to deselect it. And then I can go to fragment. And I still have my original circle there somewhere. Probably there it is. So I'll just send that piece to back, and you can see there I have the full circle. Give it a different line so you can tell that it's there. And yeah, I have these wonderful pie shapes that I can fill any way I want now and make all sorts of different colors and things where I couldn't do that before with just the rings and the lines. So if you don't draw shapes from scratch, you don't care about this, but I can see this saving me a lot of time like that. Now, the last example, are we still recording? I got to figure out how to make the ribbon tab flash too, not just the button. This was actually a big part of tonight's playing around with, can I get a ribbon button to throb or pulsate? And you can see as I talk, every once in a while it thinks I said draw box or something like that. So if you're a super Visio nerd and you go into the Visio shape sheet, a lot of times you want to protect the location or size of things, especially subshapes within groups. And what you have to do is you have to type guard around it, and that keeps Visio from stomping on your formulas. Like, okay, you can see now I can only move this shape up and down. I can't move it left and right because the X position is guarded. Well, you know, you have to move the mouse to a cell, and then you have to either be really good with keyboard shortcuts and to get into the cell with F2, hit the parentheses, hit home key, type guard. You do this over and over again in the course of a night. It's really annoying. So why not just talk to your computer and say guard? OK guard. No, guard. Unguard. Guard. Guard. Unguard. Unguard. I can see that as long as you are, not sure what's going on there. As long as you're in a room where you're not driving everybody nuts, just and you have a good microphone, you can just softly say guard and unguard all night, and you don't have to lose your train of thought. So that's this is all about automating Visio, pulling together some libraries from Microsoft where you have speech recognition. That you don't have to really do anything but reference a library and do a few lines of code, and putting it to good use inside of a tool that you use every day. So you could do the same thing with Excel or Word or any of the things. It's just a matter of, I'll just show, people can stop the code and look at the relative things. I won't go through the code, but you can see there's a speech recognition engine. I have an initialization code, and you've got these. That's the engine. There's these choices. This is this list of commands. There's a grammar builder. There's a grammar. There's some options, and then set the event. And down here, the event says, okay, speech is recognized. Then you just go through a case statement and pick out the command that you found. This is interesting, the e-result.toText. So now you can check it by the string that it sent out based on that grammar that you created originally. So you don't have to worry that it's going to send you misspelled interpretations of what you said. And then you just call your command. So if you're good at automating Visio, you can hook your commands up to your voice instead of up to a bunch of ribbon buttons. So thanks for watching. I hope that was interesting.